All right, now we will begin 203 Ghosts.
Spooky.
In Ghosts.
Okay.
So the episode kicks off with Kid Helga being sent home to the 50s. He won't speak until he sees Noah again in the 50s, and he sends him on a religious path, giving him a Bible and all that jazz. Maybe that coin's involved somehow. I will say, I feel like this episode, 203 is my least favorite of the four.
Mm-hmm.
It feels fillery. Like, it has important stuff in it, but it has multiple filler storylines, I would argue.
Right.
I don't need to see Helga getting home.
Right.
Like, I could have seen that episode, that cold open of him sending him back.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I know Helga gets home. I know Helga is, indebted to Noah, and that Noah's his leader or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't need that. I didn't need to see Egon in the 50s following around a case that I know he won't succeed at.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that didn't really add much to the.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people love the other stuff in this episode because there's a lot of other great stuff.
Yes.
So Agnes meets old Claudia in the bunker.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Did not see that coming.
No.
She is told to give young Claudia a newspaper showing when old Claudia dies. She betrays her to Noah, who kills Claudia and takes her secret pages.
Yes.
Very cool Claudia episode.
Holy moly. I mean, we start off with this really, hot and heavy scene of Agnes and Doris making out, being nearly caught.
Making out?
Well, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Lips are involved. And then
multiple kinds.
Dan, that was my joke. And and nearly being caught by Claudia, and then you just have it going into this back into the main story, intrigue thing. I'm like, whoa. How are these two things related?
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unexpected.
Yep. Definitely love that. And yeah, Claudia dying, but also not dying, but planning to die. And did Agnes actually betray her? Did Agnes betray her, or did she know Agnes would betray her, or did Agnes just do what she wanted her to do?
Right.
I mean, I personally read it as Agnes did betray her, but Claudia knew she would.
Yeah, expected it.
Yeah.
And the unexpected, the thing Claudia expected, but Noah didn't, was his reaction to those pages. The missing pages being so important.
Yeah.
That was something I didn't know to expect in season 2. I kind of like that little plot device.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and also, the fact that it ends with Noah finally, sort of facing the same thing that the guy was at the beginning of the premiere, of starting to be like, wait a second, maybe I'm also a pawn.
Right.
And maybe there's stuff going on here that I don't quite understand.
Or that I don't quite agree with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So very cool stuff for Claudia. What a great character.
Yeah, I'm going to miss old Claudia.
Yeah. Well, are we?
But are we done with her?
It's so confusing. Anyway. Egon realizes the connection between Ulrich and Mikkel, which I think is really cool because, we have to have a scene of Mikkel finally seeing his dad, right?
You'd think.
I think that's
he needs to have that closure.
Yeah, I think that's
especially, and it kind of would explain him maybe, if he's actually dead in the future, him, killing himself in the premiere of season 1 as he's realizing things are lining up. Yeah.
So Egon's also a big part here. Do you think Egon dies of cancer? Because they said they found him dead at his home.
Yeah. I don't think
he dies of cancer.
No, you would say after a long illness with cancer, it's no, he was found dead. And
yeah, so it seems suspicious to me, especially because it's the day before the apocalypse. In the time where it's 33 years until the apocalypse.
It is both 33 years before the apocalypse and also a day before the apocalypse.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. The other major thing happening in this episode is 80s Claudia learns about time travel and the time machine from Tannhaus and goes to 2020 where she sees Regina is dying.
Yeah. And she's like, oh my God, my baby. Yeah. Claudia, superstar. Love you and your 80s wardrobe.
All right, so points of interest once again.
All right, we have these sleeping pills. So Egon went to Inez's house to interview Mikkel. She says Mikkel was sleeping. He wasn't feeling well. And then Egon notices these sleeping pills. Kind of weird that Inez says Mikkel is sleeping, and then we see sleeping pills, and he's not available to be interviewed. What is this?
Yeah, I mean, it makes it seem like she doesn't want him to find out about his family.
Right.
Which I think this is them adding the negative end to her character too, right?
I think that she's going to be very possessive of him, which kind of would explain why Inez and Hannah don't get along.
Yeah.
Because it could be like, you took my son away from me and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Or even, before that, a tense relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see her doing this, which is not great.
No, it is not. So that was certainly an interesting character move for her. Now we have Noah's O-face here.
Oh my God. All right. Oh. So I mean, we have the reveal in this episode that Agnes is Noah's sister. And before we were like, oh my God, is Noah Tronta's father? Hopefully not. He is not.
Well, okay. So I think Noah could be his father and Agnes could not be his actual mother.
Right. That is true.
That's my question, is because she talks about his father was this religious guy. I'm not a man of faith.
She says her husband was.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we thought it was one and the same.
Well, but maybe. Could
Adam have been her husband?
No, I think we're going too crazy there.
Well, there's a line here.
Yeah, I don't know. Jonas is too old for her, right?
I mean, men can...
I don't know.
Sire children at any age.
But then he'd be like his own great-great-grandfather, which I guess the show would do, probably.
Yeah, why not? I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. Well, either way, if Noah is... you had the theory that Noah isn't Tronta's father because it seems like he says Charlotte here and he's Charlotta's father instead.
So our other question that I'm assuming is still his wonderful face here is what is Noah's connection to Charlotta? And subsequently, who are Charlotta's parents? Because she was raised by her grandfather. She was raised by Tannhaus. Actually, might not even have been biologically her grandfather if she doesn't really know who her parents are. We have this kind of question come up for her about not knowing her parents and their lineage. She thinks that Peter says to Elizabeth that, they died in a car accident or something like that, or in an accident when she was little. But did they, or did they just like abandon her to fulfill this prophecy? And is Noah actually her dad, maybe?
Well, so how would this work? Because
we also have the watch. She knew.
Well, because he can't. Noah returns her watch to her.
Right.
So, but is Tannhaus not actually her grandfather? Because Noah can't be Tannhaus's son, right? That doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess it's time travel, so things could somehow make sense. But I don't think.
No,
Noah
I think Noah really is from the 20s.
Yeah, me too. So he can't be Tannhaus's son unless he's like Tannhaus's father, but also Charlotte's father. Yeah,
they could have been siblings, but he raised her as a granddaughter.
Yeah. Interesting.
But
I'm definitely excited for Charlotta to be more important.
Yes.
So that's very cool.
And it also, again, makes Noah not just this like bad guy. It's like, oh my God, he has like a human connection to someone.
Yeah. Well, I will say, I don't think I mentioned it when we were recording the earlier episodes, but Tannhaus mentions in season 1 about like, I had this dream, blah, 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 blah. But like now I have like that my dream's over. I have other important things to focus on. And it was definitely alluding to I have a family. I have responsibilities.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to our final episode, 204, The Travelers. Recap. So, 80s Claudia goes to the Library of the Future, where they have iPads, and she sees the news about her family and her own disappearance. I thought this was very fun, even if it was a little silly.
Yeah. I mean, our libraries don't look like that. We still have desktops at our local libraries.
Well, we're in keyboards. America.
Yeah. Sad. But yeah, no, I mean, as a little like goofy as this was, it was also still like interesting, and she adapts to it quickly.
And it was fun.
It was fun, and it was also just like, again, it kind of catches her up to us in a very like snappy way, and also it lets us know what happens. So to speak, it gives us a hint of what happens to her and why she's not in Regina's life.
Yeah. And yeah, this is my favorite episode of the 4 for sure, because I love her stuff. Obviously, the end reveal we'll get to. Awesome. But I also, like we talked about, love how all the groups sort of come together. We have the kid group and the adult group. So the kid group, we have Marta, Magnus, Franziska, and Elizabeth searching the caves. They find Bartaj, and they kick his ass and tie him up and take his time machine.
I can't believe they left him. I can't believe Marta was like, yeah,
fuck
leave him here. Like, whoa. This seems
German.
It seems a bit much is what I was going to say. Yeah, like, why? I mean, I know that they have this journey of like, something's in the caves. Our mom might not be as crazy as we think. You know, the disappearances, all of that's tied together. And, you know, just running across Bartaj as he's carrying this mysterious device does seem suspicious.
I think it would have helped if he had like, I don't know, like a picture of Mikkel or something on his person.
But he's not involved with Mikkel's kidnapping.
Or like a newspaper from, like, you know, like some.
If he had something else,
something that tied him more directly to what was going on, I think that would have helped, because it did seem like a bit of an overreaction. She was dating him like 2 days ago, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that was interesting. It was funny and also bleak. Yeah. Yes.
And now they have a time machine.
Now they have the time machine.
Now the kids have the machine and the parents have the know-how. Will they ever talk to each other? Find out next week.
I mean, not necessarily. But yeah, no, I love this.
All right. So speaking of the parents, Hannah calls Charlotta to explain the time travel. And Charlotta brings them to her bunker.
Okay. I just really like the fact that Jonas was like, why are you telling her? And she's like, okay, we're investigating you. I already know some shit. Like, all right, let's just get this over with.
Let's go to my bunker.
Yeah.
Okay?
I just really appreciated the fact they're like, we have something to tell you. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm fuzzy on some details, but I know this. All right. Yeah. So let's talk it through.
So I like that Hannah is the one who was like, you have to tell Katerina. I thought that was a cool piece. Cool piece of character work. Katerina comes in and she ain't having any of this. She ain't suffering fools.
Can you blame her?
I'm surprised she didn't punch anyone.
I'm surprised she didn't like steer the car off the road, honestly.
Light fires or something. But eventually she finds the picture at the school of Mikkel's class and she's like, damn.
Yeah, that breakdown. It was, again, it was a really good episode for her because, why would she believe anything these crazy people have to say, including her husband's mistress? and then she sees it for herself and that like emotional breakdown. It was just like, could this be? It was just a really great arc for her in this episode.
Then we jump back to old Jonas in the bunker being sad. He's like, I have to stop Adam. He's the leader of the travelers. Adam once told him there was a loophole. Adam wants the last cycle to begin. Old Jonas must pick up where Claudia failed. She died a villain because she didn't live long enough to be a hero.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, no, this is a really great speech when he's ranting about Adam, but he already knows who Adam is.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was cool enough the first time we watched it. Once you know for sure who Adam is, damn. Yeah. That's fucking cool. And makes no sense. But who cares?
I'm going to stop myself. I'm playing 4D chess now.
Because they were in the fourth dimension. Ooh.
Are they?
Time.
Okay. Yes.
Clausen goes on a road trip with Vuller and interrogates Alex. We'll get back to that. We have a point of interest about it.
Yes, we do.
Meanwhile, Jonas wakes up in the 20s with no way to get to the future, but he has to go back to the future. Townsfolk take care of him as a prisoner of war, and he meets young Noah, who takes him to old Noah, who takes him to the travelers, and takes him to Adam, and Adam is Jonas.
Wow.
So the big reveal, Adam is Jonas. We both kind of figured it out separately. We actually watched it separately for the first time. But still, fucking awesome.
So cool.
So fucking awesome.
When was it? Did you feel pretty?
I mean, this was the episode where I was like, this is what it is.
Right.
But I think we both had an inkling the first time we met Adam.
Yes.
But I wasn't like, I wouldn't have been like, definitely
this is Jonas. Yeah.
Yeah. But if we had been doing one episode a week and we saw that Adam first episode and we had time to like really think about it, I do think we both probably would have said maybe he's Jonas, but I don't know how like strong in our thought process that would have been.
I was like, this has to be someone that we know. I felt very confident in that. I didn't think it was some like random third party, but I was like, well, he's insulting Bartosz, but could this be Bartosz?
My first thought was Alex, honestly, because it looked like such a radiation thing that had happened to him.
Well, it kind of is time travel, the solar dimensional
It's
radiation.
interesting. Is it a little goofy that 50-year-old Jonas doesn't seem to really have any of that going on? I mean, I guess another 30 years, but you'd think that it would like 50-year-old Jonas would start having a little bit more. Like he's just like battered by the actual things that have happened to him, not by the time travel.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, carcinogenic effects are additive, you know, people who spend a lot of their time like tanning, you know, in tanning beds, they might not really start developing their skin problems until after their 50s.
Ooh.
So that's a pseudo that is not
time travel science.
This isn't my like area of expertise. Don't quote me.
All right. So yes, very exciting. The hero is the villain, but he also is the hero, but he also is the villain. And can he escape his own fate? And no fate but what you make.
Are you quoting something?
That's from Terminator.
Oh. Go on.
Yes. So what now?
Points of interest?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going back to Noah's O face for a second. So Noah has a story in season 1 that he tells Helge about a POW he once knew. The POW once said that pain should not be in vain and it makes us who we are. Well,
the POW clearly was Jonas.
Seemingly.
Also, 50-year-old Jonas says the same thing in that episode. And I was like, look at how the themes are connecting, blah, blah. But actually,
Jonas
it's the same
is quoting
person.
himself.
Yeah.
And it, again, is in line with, like, Noah twisting a narrative to convince Helge to stay loyal to him and stay loyal to the cause, even though it's not the truth.
I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't.
It's his version of the truth.
He's a prisoner of the war against time.
Sure. Let's go with that. Okay. That's it. It was just kind of an interesting
that was cool.
touch.
You remembered that. I did not remember that. You can make that connection.
Because it felt like such a like side thing of like, oh, I knew a POW. I'm like, which war? Huh? Okay. Next point of interest has to do with Clausen. Why is he really here? Because I think it's kind of odd that, yes, that they would just send one even though he has an explanation, why they would just send one person to investigate all of these people going missing, especially now that he's fixating on Alex. Yeah.
Did Alex like kill his father or something? Or did he shoot him or, you know?
Right.
I think that he's specifically there for Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or for whatever reason, he's more interested in that than solving the disappearances of the children.
Yeah. Well, maybe he assumes it's all connected back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that he's, picking up the wrong thread. Season 1 throwback.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll see where that goes. Yeah. I am excited to find out. Now we have another one, and it's this one. Oh, baby.
I haven't seen these ahead of time. Oh, is this going to get our video taken down?
We'll be fine.
All right, so we have
There's no nudity.
No,
Nothing
it's better than nudity.
It's better than nudity.
All right, so we have the shared sex dream.
That should be on the box of our podcast.
Goodbye.
Better than nudity.
Dan, I'm in the middle of a point of interest.
Yeah,
we have the shared sex dream between me and Dan. No, between Jonas and Marta.
I realize that the audio only people will be very confused.
Should we do this over?
No, absolutely not. Audio only people, I put up a picture of Marta and Jonas.
And
having
Jonas's
sex.
shared sex dream. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the shared sex dream is the point of interest.
Yes, it is. So yeah, what's going on? If it was just Jonas, he's had a history of his like crazy dreams, but now Marta is having
they're
them.
sharing the dream. It's deja vu. They're remembering the future. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Unless it already happened before he went off to the hospital.
That was the question. Is this the thing that happened the summer before he went away?
Terminology of like we're a perfect match. That's kind of interesting and odd. Yeah. And we have a little bit of a comment from last week's video.
Yep.
Brandon Barrows wrote, Olga, you give Dan a hard time about incest, but I'm just gonna say keep an open mind to anything in this show. Y'all.
Incest.
Okay. I mean, this.
Incest.
Well, we'll see if they win me over, I guess.
They won me over.
Okay, Dan, they won you over from the first mention of this potentiality.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into some other feedback on that note.
Let's go away. Here's a green screen and that.
Okay.
Huzzah.
I'm assuming that'll be cut.
Of course not.
Oh.
All right. What's the ending? Let's get this train on the station.
All right. So continuing with feedback, we have something from Ivana. I understand the tendency to see every subplot and piece of info as a mystery and a big part of the overall plot. But while a lot of the info is exactly that, sometimes it's just there to flesh out the characters and explain their backstories, psychology, and motivations. Of course, at this point in the show, it's hard to tell which is which. Correct. But for instance,
I'm pretty sure at no point in the show until it's over will it be easy to see which is
which is why I understand people being like, oh, I get so much more out of rewatches and things like that. It's like, you can disregard the just like character building stuff and you could see the nesting things like the POW thing. All right. But for instance, info about Helge being conceived by rape explains his mother's behavior. Dark doesn't have characters who are just evil with no explanation why. And it's all part of Helge's sad backstory. From his birth, he was being punished for something he had no control over. Helge's dementia is the explanation why he didn't remember what happened. I think middle-aged Helge did know that was his older self. I can't be sure, but I got the impression that he realized who the older man was when he came to talk to him and showed him the scars. Yeah, I think so too. He just didn't want to believe it. But what I'm pretty sure of is that old Helge didn't remember that accident and what happened there. He seemed to have good memories of what happened before, and he remembered during his talk with middle Helge that he had that conversation with his old self. But it seemed he was only remembering the conversation while he was having it, and I didn't remember the accident itself. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I was confused about, so this is all about season 1 stuff. In season 2, it seems like something mentally is up with Helge from the accident.
Like maybe also a nervous breakdown.
Is it a nervous breakdown? Is it trauma? Or did he actually hurt his brain?
Could be both. A traumatic brain injury and just emotional trauma from, seeing his older self too,
and
I think.
All the murder.
Yeah. And he already may have gotten brain damage as a child when Ulrich beat his head with a rock. Maybe. Helge's life story is really tragic. I thought all the actors who played him were great.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about repeated head injuries and the trauma of that too.
There's
of them being like added.
Said.
They're bad. All right. Now, I'm probably going to come off a bit of like a Bartosz hater. I don't hate him. He's not one of my favorites. And I won't tell you if I felt sympathy for him later. Well, let's just say I didn't feel that much sympathy for him at this point. In any case, comparing him to Helge doesn't do him a favor because Helge's backstory is really tragic. Emotionally abused by his mom, bullied as a child, no friends, and then nearly killed by a grown man and left for dead for something he hadn't done yet. Then he meets Noah and presumably gets groomed and manipulated as a child of 7 or 8. Bartosz, on the other hand, is not abused, not bullied, not attacked. In fact, he's usually acting like he's a prince of the town. His parents may be distracted by their respective work problems when we see them, but I wouldn't go as far as to say he's neglected. They're pretty normal.
I mean, that's a little unclear, at least from this point. Like you almost never see his parents interact with him.
Yeah.
But,
But that's, I mean, they could be more neglectful than the average parents.
I mean, hey, Franziska's not murdering anyone, and her parents haven't been home for days.
But you've seen who Elizabeth becomes, right? I don't think your point holds.
Post-apocalypse.
Okay. She didn't care about kids disappearing in her class.
That's true. She's a psycho.
They set her on a path.
Yep.
The worst thing that happened to him is that his girlfriend kissed his BFF and his BFF didn't accompany him to a drug deal. Boo-hoo.
I hate when my BFF doesn't accompany me to drug deals. It's really hard to drug deal by yourself.
Yeah. I relate hardcore. Well, now I guess I'm starting to have sympathy for Bartosz because he's alone in a cave. Tied up.
It's about the allegory of the cave. And
is it his mother's neglect because the cave is like a vagina and he's
I've been meaning to talk about the yonic imagery on the show.
Oh, it's your favorite.
It's intense, man. Anyway.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, it's intense.
There's yonic imagery.
Yeah,
okay.
It's all up in this business.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right. Now, how much sympathy or not you feel for him regarding the whole Marta thing may also depend on how much you think Bartosz was aware that Jonas had something with Marta before he went to the asylum, or at least that Jonas had feelings for Marta. I suspect he at least had some inkling about the latter. I don't know for sure. He looked smug when he kissed Marta and told Jonas maybe there were some things he missed.
I didn't read it that way. I think he's like, yeah, I got a hot girlfriend.
I got Marta.
Yeah. I don't think he's like trying to rub it in his face and that like you like Marta. It's more like, yeah, while you were away, I scored big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
as a man, I know these things.
Anyway, I was going to say something else, but let's just move on. And Bartosz seems to really think he did such a great service to Jonas by telling people Jonas was in France having fun. That's what Jonas wanted. He was afraid people would see him as a freak if they knew he had PTSD. It's just convenient that Bartosz telling Marta the story that Jonas was in France and also having fun with other girls also helped Bartosz. Because Marta thought whatever happened between them didn't mean that much to Jonas.
But they're a perfect match.
But they are. They just fit right together.
Yeah, they do.
Like a cave and people exploring a cave.
All right. I think we're going to cut out there. This has been quite the podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have.
Yeah, well, wait until you have to edit this behemoth.
Oh, God, that's true. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the future.
Bye-bye.